All right. Hello, everyone, and happy Thursday. Welcome back to another Grow Nebraska webinar. I assume some people will hop on as we go or wait for the recording, which is totally okay. We understand you all are busy. Today's topic is Mindset Matters, using the power of your subconscious mind to build your business. So we'll go ahead and get started. A huge shout out to Center for Rule of Affairs for being a sponsor and a partner of Grow Nebraska. We're super grateful to get to work with them, and please feel free to visit cfra.org to learn more about what they can do for you and your business. Our featured sponsor for this month is Aloe Fiber. There actually is a store location here in Kearney, and you may see some in the town that you live in. They do a lot of great things for families and businesses, so be sure to check them out. And then our featured member for the month of August is Cellar 44 Wine Bar, and they are located in Omaha. And they joined Grow Nebraska just last year in 2022. Janelle actually has been there herself, and she wants to go back already. She enjoyed it a lot. So I still have to go visit, but I'm excited to check it out myself. And then this week's presenter is Joe Sova. You may recognize him. He's presented for us a few times, and he also was at our Market Tech last year. So it was great to see him in person and actually meet him instead of just over the laptop, of course. So I'll go ahead and pass it over to him.
Awesome. Thanks, Zoe. And thank you to, of course, yourself and Janelle and all Grow Nebraska. If somebody is watching this and you haven't signed up for Market Tech yet for next year or haven't marked on your calendar, do it, because it's an amazing event. Lots of great energy and fun people there. So check that out. Anyways, thank you for the wonderful intro. As you mentioned, I'm Joe Sova. We'll get into my presentation in a minute, but just the fact that you're here or watching this means that you're ready for something more. You're ready to do something bigger, more success, more growth, more income, more impact, whatever it may be as an entrepreneur. And so that's why we're here. That's what Grow Nebraska does. So we're all on the same page and ready to rock. So what you're about to discover today is the impact that your mindset has on everything you do. Now, this is one of those topics that a lot of people will be like, well, yeah, I kind of know that, or maybe that's true, but I'm just going to go grind it out anyway, right? And then you get caught in the day-to-day of all of our lives, and things happen, and sometimes it even feels out of control, right? That's pretty typical. I know that's how I was prior to going through a lot of this, but it's normal. And today you're going to discover, as you watch this presentation, the exact way in order to use that to your advantage. So there's actually a way to flip that around and use your mindset to your advantage versus the other way around. So let me share my screen and I'll start my slides. Give me one moment and we'll get kicked off here. All right, so mindset matters, all right? That's what this is all about. If you take anything from this presentation, you're gonna realize that your mindset matters. And the beautiful part is, this is something all of us have, right? We all know we have a certain frame of mind, ways of thinking, and it impacts everything we do. And you're gonna find out exactly what that means for your business, all right? Now, we all know the phrase, right? From back in probably the 80s, right? Your mind is a terrible thing to waste, right? Now, this presentation is not about drugs. Don't worry. We're not going to talk about that or what that does to your mind. This is much more powerful, much more positive and in a good way. We'll find all of that out. But you might be thinking, yeah, I'm here to only learn about business, right? I'm here about I'm an entrepreneur. I have a business. I'm either starting a business or I've ran a business, whatever it may be. And I'm here to learn about business. And that's not entirely true. We're actually going to learn much deeper, much more about you, because you control your business and your mindset controls everything you do. And so that's why we're here. So now most of us focus on what is consciously in front of us, right? And the effort we can put in to work harder or do more or give it our all, right? That's common, especially for entrepreneurs, right? The common thought process, the common mindset is the harder I work, right? Or if I just work hard enough, results will follow. Now, if that were true, everybody who worked hard would get the results they wanted. And I know from personal experience, by putting in, the 14-hour days, 6-7 days a week and all that stuff, that it doesn't necessarily correlate to the exact results. I know some people that are some of the two people come to mind, and you might think of somebody in your life that's the hardest worker besides yourself, of course, right? And I know two people that are extremely hard workers, yet their business or their income or their lifestyle just isn't exactly what they would dream of, right? It's not quite to that next level of what they would want if they had a magic wand, right? Because the reason for that, it's obvious at this point, is that necessarily effort, the conscious effort and hard work doesn't correlate to the success. But there's a good solution for that. We're going to go over all that today. And that's the untapped resource that we all possess, right? We're taught through school certain ways to learn and certain ways to do things. And it just carries on through our life. So it's no fault of our own. But we can use this untapped resource, our mindset, the power of our subconscious mind to our advantage. And whether you realize it yet or not, if you're not using it to your advantage, it may be working to your disadvantage, right? Because it's there. It's working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we can go, as deep on that as you would like, but, we don't think about consciously even how our bodies work, right? Like I'm not consciously thinking about, okay, my heart needs to beat at this rate right now, or I need to breathe in and process the oxygen and then breathe, right? None of that. None of us are thinking consciously on what to do about that, right? It's all just part of our subconscious mind, our systems, and everything that is happening within ourselves. So it's always working, is my point, and we can actually use that to our advantage, as you're about to find out. Now, most people I work with, after we go through some of the exercises that we go through, they realize that this is the missing ingredient, right? They tried hard, they had all the knowledge, right? They did everything they needed to do, or so they thought, but this was the missing ingredient that took them from point A to point B, right? We're kind of out of reach from our goals sometimes. And like, if I could just get to that point, maybe I need to take another course, or maybe I need to learn a new marketing technique, or hey, there's this new social media platform. If I just learn how to use that to my advantage, my business will take off. But as you're about to find out, it's not about those things. Those things are outside of us, right? There's new social media platforms popping up all the time. There's new marketing techniques. There's new ways to do things. It's not about that. It's about who we're being within our own mindset when we use those tools. All right. And we'll get to that in a little bit. So stick with me. And you'll be glad you did as we go through this. So a little bit about me again. Thanks for the intro earlier, but this is me. It's a big picture of me. I didn't realize it was that big, but there it is on the screen in full life. But that's me. I'm an entrepreneur. I've had my own business for over 12 years now, and we've grown to a staff of 10. And have exceeded a lot of our goals that we set out initially. It was just me. I had 0 employees, 0 clients, and have grown that over the years to be in business for over 12 years now. I also am a peak performance coach, so I love, this is really my passion. This is what I love doing, is speaking about high performance and getting from level A to that next level. Whether it's if you're a startup going to trying to get to maybe a 6-figure income, or if you're at 6-figure income but you need to hire a team, or whatever it would be, getting from point A to point B, that next level, is what I really enjoy and love doing. I'm also trained and certified in NLP. If anyone's out there familiar with neuro-linguistic programming, it's really the language of the mind. All right. And that's where a lot of this comes from. I'm a certified hypnotherapist. So again, getting in that subconscious mind. Hypnotherapy is really just using your imagination in a guided way as yourself. Also things like time techniques and other modalities as well. Also, I'm a Pop-A-Shot champion. So if you're familiar with the mini basketball and the hoops, I'm really good at that. At least I think so, against my 9-year-old twin boys. So I like to play that. So that's a little bit about me. But we're here today. Let's talk about achievement and success. The fact that you're an entrepreneur, the fact that you're here today, means you're likely looking for more, right? It means that there's something else out there that you can get. Your business can advance, or you're looking for, again, more income or more impact, or whatever that reason is, that why behind you do what you do every day in your business, right? It's all about achievement and success. This is a favorite picture of mine. I won't even give it away, but if you know where this is from, then kudos to you. We'll be good friends. But it's from a movie. I'll just give it. It's from Rocky IV. Anyway, he's at the top of the mountain, and he achieved success, right? So that's a favorite movie of mine. But let's think about this, right? Those who are successful, whether they're quote unquote famous people, or maybe just mentors in your life, or others, peers of yours that are successful. What's the common factor with that success, with that business success, and what they do, right? It could be a variety of things, but if you boil it down, you're likely to find there is some common factor that we're going to talk about today. Now, is it something like what the weather is outside? Probably not, right? There can be successful people in Florida, there's successful people in Alaska, and everywhere in between, right? And whatever the weather may be on a cold, rainy day, they're still achieving success. So it's not these outside forces like the weather even the economy, right? A lot of people will say, well, the economy's down, or, whatever, interest is up, or whatever the case is, right? Those are all external factors beyond ourselves, right? And when we allow external factors to control our achievement and success, we're giving our power away to those things, right? So it's not necessarily about the economy, because I know plenty of people that, made it through 2009 recession or housing bubble or whatever it is, right? And had great success, along with other, right now, right? We're in a recession or whatever it may be. There's still people that are thriving and achieving and growing their business. Including myself with my company, and others, clients of mine, and things like that we know, right? So the common factors aren't these outside forces. That's the point here. As you're starting to realize, there's more to it, right? And that one common factor that you'll find, despite the weather or the economy or anything else, really is having a peak mindset. That's what, if you look at Warren Buffett, if you look at even outside of business, all right, let's look at professional athletes, right? If you look at Michael Jordan or LeBron James or Tom Brady or whoever it is, right, they're going to attribute their success, right? It's not necessarily how strong their arm is or their body is, it's their mindset, right? They had a winning mindset. And the same goes for business. Sports, athletics, any of those things, it all comes back to having that peak mindset. So today we're going to talk about what that means and how to achieve that. I do see a chat. Okay, Zoe's in the chat. Got it. So yeah, you can go along there and ask questions as we go as needed. All right. So we know we are starting to see now that how important it is to have a peak mindset, and that really is the difference maker, right? Mindset matters, as you're starting to notice. But how does our mind, all right? We're going to take a step back. So in this presentation, I'm going to zoom back a little bit, and then we're going to come full throttle into what this means for your business, all right? So stick with me, and you'll be glad you did here at the end. So how does our mind shape our results, all right? There's a few different ways, but we're all familiar with the 5 senses out there, right? We have sight, we have sound, our hearing, we have sense of smell, we have sense of touch, right? Feeling, and our taste, right? You can taste something. And all of these things are taking the information that is around us in the world, right? We see something or we hear it. It's taking that information and it's bringing it into our conscious awareness. All right. Now, there is a book called Flow out there, and it's a fantastic book. But there was a study done in the book that said, and this was a while ago, so this is probably even more now. But the study showed that there was 2.3 million bits of information per second coming at us. All right. That's information all around us. So that can be from what color this pen is, to what the computer screen reads, to what sounds I'm hearing, right? There's information everywhere, not just ad. We always hear the one about, there's how many ads are coming at us. It's not just that. It's everything around you that your senses, your sight, your smell, your hearing are filtering all of that data by, right? There's a lot of information through sight and sound and feelings, taste and smell. Think about it right now, okay? Or observe it right now, I should say, right? If you focus your attention straight in here as much as you can, right? Pick one spot on your screen and just focus your attention straight there, right? And then you can kind of zoom out, right? And if you widen your perception, right, there's things probably to the sides over here of your view that you weren't aware of when you were so focused in on this one thing, right? Or think about sounds right now. Maybe in the room you're in, the air conditioner is blowing, right? But you don't really notice that necessarily, right? But it's there. It's been there the whole time. But this information is all coming in, some at a conscious level, some at a subconscious level. And we'll get to that later, right? Or maybe a smell, right? Have you ever been on vacation? You're gone for a week and you come home and you're like, I didn't realize my house had this, maybe hopefully it's a good smell, but right, my house smells a little different. Or you walk into grandma's house and there's a smell there, right? These things are all of our senses taking in the information around us, right? And think about that, 2.3 million bits per second. That's a lot of information, right? It's almost unimaginable how much that is, but we're able to do that through our 5 senses, all right? Now, what happens is our minds and our senses filter these things out, right? It's important because obviously we can't think consciously or logically through that much information. So a lot of that information gets filtered out, right? And that can be done in different ways too, right? It can be done through the time of day or the location we're in, right? Maybe past memories we have, the mood we're in, right? And this goes down to things like beliefs and our values and our very identity of who we are at a core level. All filters these things through, all right? So let me give you an example. If we were at a conference, let's say a networking event for business, right? And it's about 5 o'clock in the evening, right? And I say, hey, can I borrow $1? I need to I need to get a quick coffee before I drive home because I'm tired, right? It's 5 o'clock and we're at a business event. And you say, oh, sure. Here, you'd likely your reaction would be, absolutely, here's $1, go get yourself a cup of coffee, right? Now, if we change the time and location, something that basic, and I call you or I knock on your door, even better yet, I knock on your door at 2 a.m., right? And you're at your home with your family, and I'm knocking on your door at 2 a.m. and I say, hey, I need $1. Right? What's your reaction going to be there? Very, very different than when we were at the networking event, probably. Then again, the only difference is it's the same ask, right? I just need $1. I need $1 to get something, but the time and location are very different. So we're filtering that information through everything around us, right? That's what is happening. And what can happen there is it will affect other things, as we'll see it on the next slide. But we take all of that information that's around us through our senses, right? And then we filter it through these various items such as time, location, or maybe a past experience, right? If somebody's knocking on your door at 2 a.m. and you had a negative experience with that, a few years earlier, you might get scared, right? You're interpreting that information, you're filtering that through that prior lens of what that means and what that happens or what happens around that, okay? So we take all of the information, we filter it through, and then our filters create our results. Right? This is what's going to come out the other side. It's almost like again, the funnel, right? That information comes through and it gets filtered through. And as it gets filtered, it's going to create a state, right? A state of what we're in. And what I mean by that is it could be like a mood, right? Okay, if I call you at 2 a.m., you might put you in an angry state, right? Like, why are you calling me at 2 a.m.? What's going on here, right? What are we doing with that, right? So it's going to put you in a state. That state's going to lead to a behavior, right? In that same example, you're angry, you're in that angry state. Your behavior is now going to be, what are you doing? Click, right? I'm going to hang up the phone. That's my behavior, which then leads to our results. All right. And our results is, well, maybe that friendship just ended, right? Or maybe we have to have a talk the next day or whatever it would be, right? And the opposite is true as well, right? So if you do something generous, right, it might put you in a good state, right? And in your behavior, you become more generous and the results are everybody's happy around you, right? So the filters lead back into what our end result is. And I'm going to show you a prime example of that coming here shortly. But the bottom line is, after all of that information is absorbed subconsciously, it goes through our filters. At the conscious level, we actually process about 126 bits of that information. So from 2.3 million per second to about 126 bits, that's a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent that is in our conscious level of what's in front of us. All right. So here's an example of that. Very basic example, but think about this. Have you ever purchased a new vehicle for yourself, right? You went and got, let's say, let's just say a red Corvette, right? And you love the red Corvette. It's amazing red Corvette. To you, it's probably the only red Corvette you've ever seen in your town. And you pull out of the lot, and then what happens over the next week or two, right? You start to notice more and more red cars, right? Or red Corvettes or whatever it is, right? The same thing is out there, right? Or you go and purchase a new shirt and you start to notice people with that same shirt, whatever it would be, right? That's because consciously now that information has been filtered to where you recognize it. So a lot comes through us. Again, you might be hearing a dog in the background that normally you wouldn't hear, or maybe the lawnmower outside, but we're filtering that out until we actually focus on all of that info. So, all right, a lot of information there. But we're going to get to the good stuff when it comes to your business here momentarily. Let me get a drink. Again, I'm just setting a baseline here. Now, some of this you may have heard regarding communication and how this relates to your communication. All right. Verbally, what I'm saying right now is really only 7% of total communication. All right. Studies back this up. This has been proven over time. And again, you've probably heard this, right? Tone is 38% of our communication. And tone, as I'm about to show you, is really observed subconsciously. Body language is the other 55%. Okay. So when you add up tone and body language, that equals 93% of all communication is not at the conscious level, right? The verbal is the conscious side, right? What I'm saying, the words coming out of my mouth is conscious. The tone and the body language are the subconscious, right? And here's a great example you're going to find very useful for this concept and to show you what I mean here. Okay. So I'm going to say the same thing twice, but I'm going to say it different ways. All right. So if I turn to somebody and I say, nice hair, right? Okay. That has one meaning to it, right? The words nice hair, but the way I said it has a meaning. Now, somebody walks in front of me and I say, nice hair. Very, very different meaning, right? Again, same exact words, but notice my tone, right? My first time was nice hair, kind of sarcastic, not very friendly. My body language was kind of turned to the side, like nice hair, right? The next time I was looking straight ahead. I was sincere with my tone, right? All of that. So the same words, nice hair, the same words, different tone, different body language, completely different meaning because it ran through all those filters we talked about earlier. And so this is the power of the subconscious mind. And this is the power of what we're talking about when you're in your business and there's these things running on autopilot behind the scenes that we don't even recognize how important it is to control this the best we can. Okay. So habits and autopilot, right? You may have been, think about this. Has there been a time where you're driving down the street and maybe you missed your turn, right? Your mind is thinking consciously of something else and you don't even think of where you're supposed to turn, or the reverse, right? You're driving to work that day and you show up at the office and you're like, I don't even remember driving here, right? I don't remember what color cars I passed. I don't remember what necessarily roads I took or who was on the side of the street or what businesses, right? All of that happens on autopilot because it's all handled through the subconscious mind. It's automated, right? And our habits, right? Our habits are really our thoughts and behaviors that those things happen without us actively thinking about it. That's what a habit is, right? You might do the same thing, the same routine every single day. And that's how habits are born, right? It's just automated in the background through our subconscious mind. All right. So at this point, you're starting to realize how important it is and how much control our subconscious actually has over everything we do, which is pretty amazing. All right. So yes, 93%. Take a quick drink there. But business really is about getting results, right? So now we're going to bring this back to how this relates to your business and getting results. Now, the results you're looking for could be different for each person, but maybe it's income, right? You want to generate more revenue, more profit. Maybe it's creating a successful business to have more freedom for yourself or your family. Maybe it's security for wealth for your family, right? Or whatever that would be, or making an impact in your community. But we're all about getting results, and the results we want are going to be dictated, as you can see, by what we do behind the scenes within our mindset. All right. Now, most people want results, and most people focus on behaviors to get to the results. All right. So behaviors lead to results. So, for example, if I go to the gym, I will be fit and in shape, right? I'll be healthy, right? Or if I eat salad every day without ranch dressing, or without Dorothy Lynch dressing, who I know is a Grow Omaha sponsor or member. But if I eat salad, right, I will be healthy, right? Behavior equals results. That's where most of us operate. Same thing with business, right? If I make a sales call, I'll get the results. I'll make a sale. I'll have more income. If I hire somebody, right, I'll be able to grow my business. That's the result. I need more to be able to scale my business. That's really how most people operate when it comes to behavior. If I work hard, I will achieve more, right? If I put in long hours, I'll have more income. My business will grow. That's behavior-based leading to results. But what's often missed is there's much more before behavior. All right. So what's driving behavior? If behavior drives results, what drives behavior? And that comes down to our potential. And what I mean by potential, and what you'll realize, is that this is your skills. This is what's possible, right? This is what you can learn. What's in your potential? Now, I believe that all of us have infinite potential, and we can do whatever we choose to do, right? If I wanted to be an engineer, I could go back to school and study engineering and become an engineer, right? If I wanted to learn wood shop, I could take a class and gain that skill, and I could be a woodworker, right? Now, for some of us, right now, there may be more practice involved and things like that, right? Some of us are more natural at some things. Sales, for example. If I want to be good at sales, then I can increase my potential with being a good salesperson, right? But potential really is about what's possible and what skills make things possible, right? And that's what's going to drive behavior. Okay, so if I am knowledgeable and I am tapping into my potential as a healthy person, then my behavior is going to be healthy choices like eating a salad, right? So if I do the research and I educate myself on what's healthy and what exercises I need to do, behavior will lead to actually doing those exercises at the gym, which then leads to the results, which is I'm a healthy person, right? Maybe I lose 10 pounds, or maybe I can fit into a smaller pair of pants, or whatever it is. Okay, so potential is all about driving behavior, which drives results. Now, behind potential, what drives potential? Where does that come from? And that actually gets even deeper. All right, that comes from our beliefs. And this is where things really open up the door, is when you allow your beliefs to roll into the potential. All right, because this is where it all starts, is what we believe leads to our potential. So if I believe I am a healthy person, then I'm going to take my potential and my skills of being healthy, which leads to healthy behavior, which leads to healthy results, right? As a business person, if I believe I'm great at sales and selling my product, if I believe that, that's one of my beliefs, then I'm going to use my potential in order to sell that product, which leads to my behavior of actually going out and knocking on doors or making calls or going to networking events, which leads to the results of more income, right? So I believe this, I use my potential, it leads to the behavior, and that leads to the result. Now, that's the basic version, but here's the part that also gets missed very, very often, is that it's really a cycle, because the results I get reinforce the beliefs that I have. So let's take an opposite approach, okay, of the belief. I was working with a client who they kept telling me, I'm not a salesperson, right? I'm not a salesperson. I want to have my business, but I don't want to go out there and sell. I'm not a salesperson. That was their belief. So they weren't tapping into their potential of being a salesperson in any way, shape, or form. So what behavior did come of that? Right? Well, they wouldn't go talk to anybody. They wanted, the famous, if you build it, they will come. They wanted to, put up a website, put up an open sign on the door, and expect people to walk in. Right? You and I know that doesn't happen necessarily. So their behavior was not doing any of the things in order to drive revenue. And the results were they weren't getting enough income. And so the opposite can be true as well, right? If I believe things like I'm a good manager, right? I'm good at managing people, right? I'm tapping into my potential as a manager, as a leader. That's going to lead to behaviors that are leadership quality. I'm guiding, I'm helping my people, which are going to lead to better employee results, right? So the results reinforce my belief that I'm a good manager, or I'm a good salesperson, or I'm not a good manager, or I'm not a good salesperson, right? And it's just this never-ending cycle in this circle of results. Now, this is key. This is so important when understanding how our mindset works within our results, right? What we believe leads to our results, and the results we get leads back to what we believe. Now, if you're looking at this in this 2D form, right, it looks like a circle, but imagine this kind of tilts into a 3D, right? So I don't have a good graphic of this, but imagine it's kind of stacked, and it's actually a spiral, okay? So the spiral can either spiral up, right? So you start at a belief, and it can lead to greater potential, it leads to great behavior, and then it leads to great results, right? That's when you achieve your goals. Or the opposite, it can spiral downward, right? Your negative belief can lead to negative potential, not tapping into what you need to do, leads to negative behaviors, which leads to negative results, right? So you can spiral down one way or the other, right? Now, most people don't understand that our results and beliefs are tied together. Again, they stay at the behavior. This is why at the end of the year, beginning of the year, if you've ever been to a gym, they're packed, right? Come January, that's when most gym memberships are sold, probably the entire year combined. People are packed. And what happens? 2 weeks goes by, Suddenly nobody's showing up to the gym again, right? It's back to the regulars that were always there. That's because the people that had bought the gym membership thought, if I just go to the gym, if I change my behavior, I will become healthy. I will change my results, right? But the belief at a mindset level, at a subconscious mind level, was, I'm not somebody that goes to the gym, right? Or I'm not a healthy person, or whatever it may be, right? Their belief didn't coincide with the behavior they were looking for. And that's why it's so difficult to change habits. Or how about this in your business? Have you ever tried to put in a process, right? Okay, I'm going to follow this step-by-step process. And what happens, right? That lasts about a week or two, and then you're back to the old habit again, right? I know that happened with me quite a bit, or my staff, right? That's because you're trying to change the process or the behavior to get a new result. However, if you change the belief of, we're a company that follows processes, right? Now you're doing something more with the potential, which leads to the behavior, which leads to the results. And as those results accumulate, it will lead to reinforce that belief. All right. So a lot there, but you're probably wondering, okay, great. If I have the right belief, wonderful. What if I don't, right? What if my beliefs are negative? What if I have the self-doubt of, I'm not confident, or I'm not good enough, right? Those are common with entrepreneurship. I helped a client recently who they had a great product, knew everything about the product, right? And they could talk about it for days. They had this belief that they weren't quite ready. I need to try it again. I need to make it better than ever, right? It was what I call imposter syndrome, right? They just didn't think they were good enough, right? So we worked on some of those beliefs, and boom, it opened up their potential, which changed their behavior, and then they started to get the results they wanted, which was more income. So it is possible. But how does that happen, right? It happens by changing your beliefs, right? You have to change that baseline belief rather than simply the behavior in order to get those results that you want. And all of that happens really behind the scenes, right? We can consciously change a belief, or what I do with clients is we subconsciously change that belief through things like time techniques or self-hypnosis and things of that nature. Okay, so there's different ways to do that, but it really starts here with your beliefs at a subconscious level. Because as we saw earlier, that's where all the information is filtered through. That's where all of your values and things are coming from. And that's truly what is going to drive the results. All right. So grab another drink. Let's talk about what this means for you and your business. Most entrepreneurs are under the impression that, again, if I work harder, I'll get more results, right? That's a belief. If I work hard, I'll get more results. But the behavior is I have to work 12-hour days, and the results might be minimal from there, right? So the only way around that is to change that belief, right? How about if I work on what I love to do and what lights me up, right? That's a different belief that might lead to different results. And so creating leverage is what your business really needs to scale, right? It's what your business really needs to grow exponentially. And whether that's with one employee or 100 or whatever your goals may be, leverage is where it's at, because we know we can't do everything ourselves, right? But when we focus on simply our behaviors, that's really focusing on effort, right? Hard work, putting in more hours, putting in more time, whatever it would be. When we focus on our beliefs and change our beliefs around everything, that's creating ultimate leverage in our business. That's creating that ability to do more while working less, right? And working doesn't necessarily mean you're not active or productive. It simply means maybe you're not answering the phones and the emails and all that stuff around it, right? It can go different ways that way. The client I had, I'll tell this story. I had a client who really felt that they had to be in their business 12 hours a day in order to get everything done, right? What happened was this person was getting married soon, however, and his future wife wanted to go on a honeymoon, right? How's he going to work 12 hours a day on a honeymoon? It wasn't possible, right? So his behavior was, I have to put in the effort. His belief was, I have to put in the effort in order to get the results, which led to the behavior of the 12-hour work days, right? So we worked together and shifted this belief for him to focus on the important things of business, right? What really moves the needle, where his zone of genius was. And he was able to shift out of that mentality into more leverage. And what happened was he actually, we had to shift some other things around mentally on his subconscious beliefs about hiring people and managing and things like that. And once we got there, the former belief was, well, if I hire somebody, it's going to be more money out of my pocket, right? It's going to cost me too much. But we shifted that around. He hired people, and he actually, his income, both revenue and profit, was more after he hired somebody than it ever was when he was doing everything simply by effort himself, right? So that's the power of the subconscious mind and your subconscious beliefs, is understanding that if I change this, I can get different results. Now, a lot of people I work with, a lot of entrepreneurs out there, and you may feel this as well. One of the goals is freedom, and I want to spend time with my family, but at the same time, I have this belief I have to focus only on my business, right? So there's a push and pull there. Again, that's an effort of I have to only focus on my business, or I feel guilty, to shifting that to, listen, I need to focus on both my family and my business in order to be a whole person, right? And again, a lot of that is beneath the surface at an unconscious level. If you're wondering what your beliefs are, right, and you're asking yourself, well, how do I know what I believe, right? Because if a lot of it is subconscious, how do I understand that? Start with this exercise, and you can do this on your own, but just journal or sit there yourself and talk to yourself, whatever you would like, and ask the question, I am, and fill in the blank. I am blank. And come up with about 20 to 30 items, prompts or notes on yourself as to what comes up for you, right? The first few will be easy, but as you probably get past 5 or 10, you might have to take a little more time with that. But just sit with it and answer that question, I am blank. And you'll start to realize how you see yourself at a subconscious level, right? I am a hard worker. I am a family person, or whatever it would be, right? And there's no right or wrong here, right? So it's not that you have to change what you're doing. It's just maybe a matter of perspective on how you're doing it, right? Because if the ultimate result is more income and you want to spend time with your family, right? Working the 12-hour days doesn't give you both, right? It doesn't work. It's a broken strategy. And a lot of entrepreneurs think, well, if I put in the effort now, then someday that will come back to me, right? And unfortunately, someday doesn't come for many of those. So the sooner you can shift your mindset, because as I said earlier, and as you're realizing, mindset matters. The sooner you shift your mindset, the sooner the results will show up. Now, is that it, right? Is that all we have to do, is change our beliefs and everything will be great? And the answer to that is not necessarily. No. All right. So we've been over today about peak performance mindset. All right. That's really what today was about, is understanding that there's a lot around us that we don't even notice, that we observe, and is built into our minds without us even realizing it. Again, that's where habits come from, or autopilot, or whatever it would be. This is scientifically proven that our minds are constantly working, whether we're awake or asleep or whatever the case is. It's always working. And so when we achieve a peak performance mindset, that's when things really open up and explode. But is that all we need? Is that it? Is it a matter of just simply changing our mind? And the answer is no. All right. It's really a peak mindset plus taking action. All right. This is where most people only get half the equation. Most people take action, especially entrepreneurs, right? We're driven, we're goal-oriented, we want to get things done, and we take lots of action. Okay. That's only half the equation. When you combine peak mindset with taking action, now you get your dream results. Okay. So only taking action is a quick road to burning yourself out. I've been there myself. All right. I personally worked the 12 to 14-hour days and all that stuff. And it led down a road of unhappiness, and my business became a job, and I felt chained into that job. And that's the opposite of being an entrepreneur, right? So constantly taking only action is one thing. Now, the opposite of that, right? If you listen to the conversation today and you're thinking, well, all I need is just to increase my mindset and I'll sit on a rock and meditate all day. Well, that's not it either, right? That's not going to drive results either. You've got to do more than just kind of sit around and think about things, right? Like that's a huge part of it. However, there's more to it. So you've got to combine the two. That's the bottom line of today, is you combine both peak mindset with taking action towards your goals, being accountable to those goals. When you do that, that's when you see the results. And not just results, that's when you start to see those dream results, right? Have you taken time as an entrepreneur to really sit down and create a vision as to what you want, right? And if you're not there yet, then likely something's holding you back. Otherwise, you'd already have it, right? There's something stopping you, and it's not just time. It's not that someday. There's something in your way. And very likely, if you're taking all the action you can, if you're working hard and you're doing the hustle, that's great. That's part of the equation. But if you're not at the results you want yet, it's likely because there's something stopping you from a mindset or a belief perspective. And that's where we can come in and adjust those beliefs and change out those beliefs and do what we need to do there. Let me see. There was a question back there. Do you do personal hypnosis with habits as well? Yes, absolutely. So personally, so that was a question. Amanda, thank you for the question. So the question was, do you do personal hypnosis with habits? Yes. So you can create habits in a variety of different ways. There's different ways you can create habit triggers. I would recommend that. If you haven't read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, that's one I highly recommend. There's a great book that's about doing conscious things to build habits. And again, that's part of our equation here, is to consciously do things, right? Take action, but also the mindset side. So doing things like hypnosis or daily meditation or guided meditation, whatever you want to call it, with creating those habits. Because, well, let me ask you this. Has there been a time where there was a problem, whether it was home or personal, or maybe back when you were in school, right? And you're just so into that problem, right? And your mind is just spinning. By the end of the day, your brain is basically mush. And you're like, I just cannot figure this out. I've looked at this 100 times. It just doesn't work, right? And you just say, okay, I'm done. I got to quit for the day. And you go to sleep. You wake up the next morning, and what happens, right? Boom, new idea. And I've got the solution. Holy cow, how did that happen, right? It's because behind the scenes, subconsciously, your mind is working on that problem all night long while you're sleeping, and it came to you later. So yes, doing some hypnosis on habits like that is a way to build that and actually create those and ingrain those in your subconscious. So yeah, absolutely. Great question. And that's something that I personally do and do for clients as well. So, but bottom line right now is the formula for success really is about keeping a peak performance mindset, combining that with solid, accountable action, and then you will get your dream results. Now, if you're wondering how to create a peak mindset, again, that's what I love to do. That's what I focus on. That's what I help clients with, and that's what I do myself. So reach out to me. I do things like business breakthrough sessions and all kinds of fun things. So you can find me on Instagram, connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can email me as well at connect@joesovatraining.com. So any of that works, and I'm happy to help at all. So are there any other questions or anything that we can cover on the material? I know I threw a lot out there in a short amount of time. I think we're 45 minutes in, so a lot of information there, but any other questions on anything? I'll give it a minute, otherwise we'll wrap up. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. I'll stop sharing my screen. And yeah, so I'll leave it at this, is, whether you're a solopreneur, whether you're a business of 100 employees, right? There's always another level we can get to. And as entrepreneurs, in our nature, in what we do, in our mission, and the very reasons that we're here is likely to get to that next level. It's to do something more. It's to grow. As Grow Nebraska says, right? We want to grow what we're doing here. We want to grow what we're doing for others, the impact we make in our lives, in our families, in the communities, whatever that would be. And so when we put more into ourselves, when we commit to doing more ourselves, that is above and beyond what we've done before, right? Again, if what you were doing was getting you the results, you would already have them. So do something new, focus on your mindset, combine that with action, and you will see results. So thank you very much. That's really all I have today, unless there's more questions, though.
Yeah, it looks like there's just some thank yous flying in. So thank you from me and Grow Nebraska for presenting today, Joe. We always appreciate it. And we always take a lot of great information and new things that we can, enforce into our mindset to get better results. Because I can't lie, I have had some rough mindsets. So, you're not going to get anywhere with that type of mindset.
That's right. And the good news is, though, that's common. Like we were chatting before the presentation here, that's very common. And I think all of us, especially in the business world, can relate, right? If we have a client leave us, or we get a no from a sale, or maybe we're scared to even ask for that sale because we don't want to hear a no, right? Those are all things that can affect our mindset, and it brings us down, right? And then we're filtering all that information, and that's that cycle that we talked about, right? The behavior leads to the results. So when we change that belief of, okay, what does that no mean, right? Maybe that other person's just having a bad day, right? Or maybe that wasn't the right fit. Maybe they were going to be a pain in the neck client, right? Or the pain in the something else client, right? So maybe those weren't meant to happen, whatever it would be. So we can shift our beliefs around those things. And again, there's different ways to do that, from a simple reframe like we just did now to getting really deep into the subconscious. But it's common. It's probably the one thing that holds more entrepreneurs back than anything else out there is mindset. Sorry, I'm kind of going on another tangent here as we're wrapping up, but we all hear the statistics. 1 in 3 businesses are out of business within 5 years, right? That's the SBA has those statistics. So 33% of businesses fail. Now I'll ask the group here, do you think that's because they weren't trying hard enough? Do you think that's because they weren't putting in enough effort? Do you think it's because they didn't care about their business? Probably none of that, right? I guarantee you those entrepreneurs that didn't make it past that statistic mark, they cared about their business. They put in a ton of effort. They probably put in the 20-hour days and all of those things, right? What was missing? It's back to the beginning of the conversation, right? What's the difference between that success and that failure? Really is how you see things, right? What is that mindset? What are those beliefs that are driving your behavior? And when you change those beliefs, you will change the behavior, which changes the results you get. And that result is needed, right? We need entrepreneurs. We need local business. We need business here in Nebraska and elsewhere. And so it's more important than ever, especially with what's going on out in the world. We all see that stuff, right? It's more important than ever that we shift our minds as entrepreneurs so that we can get those results. And again, I'm here to help anybody who is interested or needs it. Just reach out. And again, thank you for hosting today, Zoe, and Grow Nebraska. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, of course. And like I said, thank you for presenting, and thank you to everyone that registered and tuned in live. Of course, without our presenters, our partners and sponsors, and our viewers, none of this would be possible. So without you, we would not be able to do these. So huge thank you to all of you. And if you have any questions, you can email me at zoe@grownebraska.org, and I will have Joe's contact email in the recording send out. So if any questions arise as you're watching the recording, don't hesitate to reach out to him. And then we have some great upcoming trainings. So our next one will be next Thursday, August 24th, and that will be with Jessica Kraus, and she will be covering creating and scheduling content through Canva. I know a lot of people utilize Canva, so if you haven't yet, go ahead and register for that one. And then we will launch off on September 6th for that month with Maria Elena Duran, and she'll cover how to reach customers online with Google. So feel free to scan the QR code, or you can visit grownebraska.org, and there will be a tab drop down, and you can click upcoming trainings and register for those. And we also have some of our September ones up, and even into the new year, we have some ups already. So we're kind of flying through the year already. And then feel free to leave us a Google review. If you're a business owner, you know how much reviews help and how much they mean to all of us here at Grow Nebraska. So let us know your thoughts and how we're helping you and your business. And then I know Joe mentioned Market Tech, so save the day. It actually is on a leap year, which is kind of crazy because those obviously I think they happen like every 4 years, but it's on February 29th. We do have an apply to present. So if you are interested in presenting, that is live on the markettechconference.com website. We have not announced any of the speakers quite yet, but they will be announced soon. So be on the lookout for more details about Market Tech 2024. It's a great day to network, learn some more knowledge. And then also it's just a fun day. I've enjoyed it every single year, and I know Joe has enjoyed it. And like I said, that's actually where I met him, live and in stereo. So we highly recommend that you check that out. And as always, have a wonderful rest of your week. And thank you again.
Thanks, Zoe.
Bye.